Hello, everyone, and welcome back to No Capes, the show where we talk about creator owned comics with creators who own comics. With me today is the delightful Vera Greentea. Vera, could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi. I'm Vera Greentea. I write comic books. My comic Grimoire Noir came out in 2019. It's a book about um a town where all women are witches and all girls are witches, but boys have no powers at all. And it's kind of like a dark, spooky thing, and a lot of things I write are very dark and spooky. I started a company called Green Tea Publishing, under which I publish most of my comics, and you like a lot of them I go through Kickstarter, so you can find me there.
So, I actually have that specific comic sitting in my Comixology waiting for me right now.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. I hope you enjoy.
I think I will. I love the look of everything. I picked up a few titles actually while I was there, so I've got a reading list sitting there waiting for me.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
I like strange and spooky, so I'm really keen to sit down and read those as soon as I'm probably about going to sit down and read a bunch of stuff from every single one of my guests as soon as I finish recording next week.
Oh, awesome. That'll
Because
be fun.
I mean, I've been familiar with all of my guest stuff already, but this year I've been able to sit down and be like, okay, yes, I haven't read that. I'll take that and that and that, and then I'm going to sit down and just go hog wild, and then add a bunch of new books to the list for next season.
Oh, perfect. Sounds like a really good evening or a few weeks of evenings.
Or yeah, it'll either be a few weeks of evenings or one solid weekend, depending on
That sounds like me.
depending on how well it tickles the brain if I get carried away. And so today we're talking about Isola, which is a really fun fantasy comic from Brendan Fletcher and Carl Kerschel. I really
Right.
enjoyed this comic, and of course the art is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's just so compelling.
Yeah, it's set in a mystical land, of course, as all fantasy comics are set to be.
Hmm.
And the Queen's brother has enacted a plot, and sort of where we start off. And obviously, like, this first cover was what got my attention. Uh, just the detail in it, but also the economy of line
Hmm.
in the art for this. Like, there's so much detail, but there's actually not that many lines, which was something I'm always super impressed with how much detail an artist is able to put into their work without creating like a big mess of line art.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's I always find it really impressive, and it's a skill that I'm trying to cultivate, but I'm still a long way off from being even close to this level. It's so nice to look at. So,
Yeah.
what were your initial impressions of this book?
Well, first, I mean, obviously the art is the first thing that just made me realize. Like, I saw the book and I was like, oh, I have to buy it. But I actually, even before that, I knew about this book because I actually met Brendan Fletcher.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it was like 2015 at TCAF. I believe it was TCAF.
Which one's that?
But the Canadian one, they have their Cartoon Arts Festival,
Oh, cool.
um, Toronto Cartoon Arts Festival. And first of all, Brendan is really, really sweet, and he was great. And we were just chatting, and then out of nowhere, he was like, "Oh, Vera, I know that you like Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, and like I have something that's kind of inspired by that." And he just takes out his phone and just starts showing me this art from Isola, and I was just, "Oh my God, what is this? This is amazing. Is this a comic that you're making?" He's like, "Yeah, maybe."
Oh, yeah. That's
And then
amazing.
yeah, and I was just like, so I already knew that Brendan wrote it, whose work I had already loved from Gotham Academy. I read Motor Crush. I read um Batgirl and Burnside. So I already knew that I liked him,
Yeah.
and then the art style was just so like lush and crisp and like just it just gave me these feelings of like being in like a fantastical magical world which I mean I was immediately I was just like yeah I can't wait to dive into this story. Um, so so as soon as that book came out, I immediately bought it, and then like the story definitely like it's a kind of story I would also kind of like because I also love like a magical kind of like just put me in into the middle of things. I have no idea what's going on, but there's magical creatures. There's like people wearing bone masks. There's just like wizard type people who are just walking around and like giggling and just like I don't know like what is happening and animals of course that are just like magical animals. There's a regular looking animals, and then there's like magical animals, and of course the main characters, captain of the guard is taking care of a tiger who's a but the tiger is not like a normally colored tiger. It's black with blue stripes.
Yeah,
It's
and
beautiful.
just like stunning anytime you get a full color panel with the tiger in it. Um, and
Yes.
like you're not wrong about the Miyazaki influences either. Like I was reading about that before, and I was like, yeah, I didn't really like clock that surprisingly when I was first reading it because I was just so into the story I didn't pay attention to the influences. But after reading that and then like looking at the first page here again with like the cool hat helmet mask combo thing, I'm like, oh yeah, like it's right there on the first page. Like how did I even miss this? But
I would go ahead. Sorry.
no, I sort of lost my train of thought looking at it again anyway.
Yeah, it does that to you. It's just it's so beautiful. I would say it has the Miyazaki feel, but there's like a mix I think of Disney. Maybe it might be the animals, but
Mm.
like this is like a mix of those things. So if you clocked Disney first, I would understand that too.
I didn't even really clock that, to be honest. I was just like so deep in the high fantasy of it all
Yeah.
that and just like just marveling at the work. Like again, like the line work, Carl's line work in this blows me away. Um, and like the coloring choices,
Yeah.
because like, I still have a bad habit of using black too much when I'm like doing the lines. I love looking at work like this. Like there's the close up on our guard's face, and
Hmm.
only about half of the line art is actually black ink. The
Yeah.
rest of it is just like darker colors that match the flats and everything, and I love that. But I'm terrible at remembering to try that and picking the appropriate colors and stuff. So I'm just always blown away by someone who can do that really well. And every time I flick through this book again and I'm looking at Carl's work, I'm just like, yes,
Yes.
I need to sit down and actually do some practice with this.
Yeah. Well, next time you color, keep the book in front of you so you remember.
Yeah, yeah, and and I haven't read the first issue for a little while actually, so I'm just sort of refreshing myself with this sort of dream sequence thing that's going on. You
Oh
know,
yes.
like she
Yes.
just left the tiger safe in the tent and has wandered through a tunnel following this magical fox, and then suddenly here's the tiger full of arrows.
Yes. It is a little bit there's like some violence in this that is like that's very abrupt that you're not expecting because it's so beautiful, and then like you see this you don't know who they are really when you first start too. When you're reading you just see this kind of like warrior soldier woman, and you
Yeah,
see a tiger that's under a tent, so she's keeping watch over the tiger, and so you don't really know what's going on, and then she walks away. She's following a fox and is brought to like a platform rock kind of thing, and the tiger is dead,
yeah,
and like and she has all this pain on her face. So from that, you immediately know that like she's not just taking care of the tiger because somebody gave her a job. She obviously cares for this tiger, very much.
yeah,
She runs.
exactly. And I liked how when they first introduced us to the characters in the tiger in the tent, the way that they were playing with color and stuff there
Hmm.
makes it kind of ambiguous at first that this is the same tiger. Like when I very first read through it, I didn't clock it immediately as the same tiger, but as I first a little while there, I was like, Okay, so this is a second tiger, but that is also familiar to this character, and she has like
That's true.
because of the way that they wrote it and the fact that like she just left that tiger safe alone.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
got to this page, I was like, okay, so there's she has something to do with the tigers in this land. And then
Yeah.
very shortly after that, it's like made clear that it's actually the same tiger, and there's some weird magic stuff going on. But I just
Right.
like how they didn't introduce us to this first tiger as the blue and black tiger. It's got kind of an orangey tint to it because of the night sky and everything, and
Yeah.
makes it a little more ambiguous at first. Um, and then you start to learn more about the story as that goes on. Like, I'm not sure if that was the intention, but for my own reading experience, that was how I experienced it because of the way they changed the colors. At first I wasn't sure that this was the same tiger. Like maybe this is the mate of that tiger that's is
Right.
being kept safe in the tent. I don't
Yeah.
know. And
That's
then
true. And
yeah,
that is the thing about this book where you really don't know a lot because it goes in and out between like the vision sequences and what's actually happening. You don't you're not always, you're a little bit always caught off guard and a little bit like you're sort of walking in like tripping over rocks because you're like,
yeah,
oh, okay, now we're going here, okay, now we're doing this. um so and because of that, I do feel that there's times when I was reading the book and I'm like, oh wait, this whole time I thought this was happening, but then there's actually this was happening.
right. Yeah, and then immediately, like you flip the page again here, and suddenly the tiger and the arrows have disappeared.
Yeah,
And so then
yeah,
that was the moment when I'm like, oh, okay, this is the same tiger, and this was a dream sequence of some kind.
yeah. Or there's magic, yeah,
Yeah,
and something's up with that fox.
yeah, yeah. And you know, obviously, like in a lot of mythology, uh, foxes are, you know, signs of mischievous spirits or
Yeah,
trickster gods and stuff like that. So
exactly.
that sort of sort of immediately leads you to believe that okay, so she's being fucked with.
Yes.
And also, just looking at the design again of this character, Image, if you haven't already done it, and I'm going to Google this right after we finish talking, get on an action figure.
Oh my
Because this
god,
character
right?
looks so cool that,
Yeah. If I could have like a rook and like a tiger with her,
yeah, right? Give
like,
us give us an action figure, but also give us a paintable miniature.
yes.
I want to paint these characters as miniatures. I love painting my D&D minis and stuff, and this design and the tiger and stuff, that would be so cool to sit down and paint. I saw some really cool new paints the other day. Green Stuff World has released these like blacklight paints for painting
Ooh,
minis.
what does that mean?
You put your UV light over them and they glow vibrant like
Oh wow.
so like doing this and then painting the blue stripes in that blacklight paint on the tiger would be so much fun.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah, the glowing tiger. Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, and
I
then
hope
just
you do that.
making
I
like
hope
a
someone hears you.
right, yeah. So some image sort us out. I mean, if I had the cash to play, I would just commission a 3D artist to mold me a statue, so I could just 3D print it and paint it myself. But I don't have the cash to splash, so Image should just get on that. Actually,
Yes.
Image should make should work with Brendan and Carl to make a TTRPG based on this world. That
Actually,
would
I was
be
just about to say that. I'm like, a whole game of
yeah,
this
that would be
would
amazing.
be full of miniatures of the Morrow, the Hunter clans, the
Yes.
that weird like spider character you get in book two.
Mm. Yeah, there's so many cool designs that would make amazing miniatures and just be so much fun to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we're not, like you said, we're kind of just dropped into it. We don't get the history of what's happened yet straight up.
Yep.
So it's really interesting when, like, the next day, Rook is there and, like, addresses the tiger as Your Majesty. I
Yes.
read that and I was like, what the fuck?
Like, okay, this tiger.
Okay, so, like, is this a magic tiger? Is this tiger a god? Is this tiger a person? And I was just okay, all right. Well, you've got me. Like as soon as I got to this, I'm
Yeah,
like, you've fully got me. I need to know what's going on,
yeah,
and just I'm just still blown away completely every time I look at the page, any of these pages, by
yeah,
the art. Like the coloring choices are amazing. The
yes.
lettering is delightful. Like the
Oh yeah,
the sound effects here, like the sound effect lettering that's not actually letters.
yeah. It's a. So I was reading about that with the lettering, which was done, I want to say Aditya Bikkumar.
Ah, yep, yep. I love Adichie's work.
Yeah, like they created basically a language, but they didn't do it in tandem with the writer and the artist. So like, so I was listening to a thing where Brendan was saying they don't actually know what Aditya was writing. They're just, we hope it's not curse words.
Yeah, but like I love that touch because like this is an alien world to us.
Yeah.
This is otherworldly. So of course, it's
Yes.
like it communicates visually like exactly what we would be hearing and feeling from that sound.
Yeah.
And but like, it's just like that in itself is a really interesting commentary on effects lettering. Like that's not English. I can't read
Yeah.
that. But I
Yeah.
like, but because of the way that it's done, how it looks, how dynamic it is, and the context
Mhm.
that it's presented in, I know exactly what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I can feel the sound of that sword and the stone scraping down it in
Yeah.
my head just from looking at that. And so like, there's a really interesting commentary on effects lettering, and that maybe it doesn't really need to be words to
Yeah.
communicate what
Doesn't
it's
need to
trying to
be
be.
words that you know. You
Yeah,
just, it doesn't, yeah. It
like
just,
obviously, as you said, they created a language for this book, so that those sounds are probably translated somewhere in a notebook that Aditya put together.
yeah.
But to anyone who doesn't know about that, those are completely unfamiliar. So they're not,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I said, like not at all words that I would know, but I know exactly what's going on without having to,
Exactly.
and that's
Yeah,
really cool.
it's so well done. Yeah, it's very clever.
This cracked me up actually. This sequence where like she's talking to the tiger about breakfast and everything, and the tiger just fucks off.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, just climbs a cliff and just takes off.
Well, you know who's the alpha in that, in those
Yeah,
two.
right. And then oh, the expressiveness of the tiger throughout the book.
Yeah.
Like it's a cat.
Yes.
Cats don't have human faces, and yet
Yeah.
the like you can quite clearly see the irritation and
Yeah.
distrust on the tiger's face.
Yeah.
Standing in the top of the up on the top of the cliff, glaring back down at Rook. Then we're walking through the forest, and you can see the worry and the concern as the eyes
Yeah.
widen.
I do think that that's Kerschel's. That's his like, this is his special like talent that I don't think like that many people can do. Just like draw an animal, but like its whole body and its like facial expressions. It's like where it puts its paw. It's like, and you can tell what it's feeling. It's just
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's like a very magical kind of.
it is like that's a real. It's both a gift and a skill.
Yeah,
You have
it's
to
both.
practice that,
Of course.
but it's a real gift to be able to.
To imbue that
Yeah,
much, yeah, like personality on something that's like normally, I mean, I have both a cat and a dog. My dog is pretty expressive, but my cat has no expressions whatsoever. He just looks either angry because he's hungry or sleeping. Those
yeah,
are his two.
exactly. And like the expressiveness of all the characters throughout this book is incredible. But animals are hard enough to draw as it is, and yet to portray, like, even when you flick across again and you see this weird beaked boar creature coming at them,
Hmm.
and like they give you that close up on its face, and like it looks mad.
Yeah.
That is not a happy creature. Like it looks furious. And again, like it doesn't even have human features.
No.
And so that's really cool. And then we get to start seeing some of the other beasts that live in this world, like the giant saber-toothed beaver thing. That's cool. That's such a cool
Yeah.
design.
Oh my god, there's such great animal designs in this book. It just, I think Herschel was in his element. He was just like, where, like, I'm just gonna invent all kinds of, like, beautiful creatures that do not live, like, nobody's ever seen before, and I'm just gonna populate this book with this just magic.
Yep, I would love to see the sketchbook full of all the concept designs for the
Yes.
animals, because
Oh
like
my god, yes.
this is just like a 2 page, 2.5 page sequence of this stampede, and there are quite clearly a number of creatures with their own very distinct designs, even though you can only see portions of them for some of these panels. So
Yeah.
you you know that somewhere there is a book just full of sketches of the
Yes.
different animals that exist in this world.
Yes. If any book should have the art of type book, like supplementary, it's this one.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
Art of Isola.
yeah, I would love an art book for this. And as I was saying to Jen Hickman when we talked about Wasted Space, I want a full visual encyclopedia for that one
Mhm.
because it's such a vast and expansive sci-fi world
Mhm.
that there's so many things that you know there's so much more information that the creators have got written down somewhere
Yeah.
that a visual encyclopedia for the world would be really fun to dive into and read about the lore and everything. And it's the same thing for this, you know, like this book is so rich. It's like it's primed to be a TTRPG,
Yes.
and I would love to read a source book based off this world.
Yes. That would be so
I
fun.
mean, Brendan, hi, hello. Your boy's a TTRPG writer. Let's talk. I will
Do
help
it.
you write an adventure for D&D 5e set in this world if you want. Like, let's talk. That would be a really
Oh.
fun project.
Yes, do it.
I mean, I don't think I could come up with an entire TTRPG with like new rules and mechanics and everything like that. But you want to create a D&D source book based off this world? Let's talk. I can
Yeah.
definitely help you with that. That would be so much fun.
And it'd be
I
fun
would
for me to
play in
play.
this setting so hard.
Yeah. Oh, agreed with you 100%.
And oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this. Let me go to the double page spread layout real quick. Here we go. When we see this giant crow raven creature that all of the animals have charged at.
Oh yeah, the Harlem.
Yeah. And they're like picking at its. But like a very large portion of those creatures looked like herbivores.
Yes.
And that's what's really concerning about this panel. This
Yes.
splash page is like there were beavers. They eat wood. Like they still had beaver teeth.
Yes.
Like
They do make a point in saying that that's like that when the Harlem goes down, every all the animals their instinct is to eat it. It doesn't matter if they're a herbivore or not.
yeah, and that's like
It's
that's kind of disturbing. Like why?
it's super disturbing. Yeah, and it was really gross. Even when Olwyn turns around and goes to eat it, and the moral's like, even you can't help it."
Right? And it's like I I don't know. I can't remember for sure if they ever explained exactly why that urge is there or what the
Hmm.
point of eating it is, but that's yeah, it's disturbing.
Yeah, and like and they don't completely ever explain to you what the Harlem really is, but I guess but they all talk about it in like very like kind of almost like hushed tones, like the Harlem. It's like
Yeah.
the Harlem is gonna come, or we're all going to be attacked by the Harlem. It makes it sound like it's some sort of like sacred kind of spiritual creature.
Right? Yeah, it feels like it's something big and important.
Yeah, like a god of some sort, perhaps. We never find out. Hopefully, there'll be more information in chapter 3.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and then we've got these guys like processing the creature.
yeah, I
Uh,
guess I thought that was like some sort of clan, a hunter clan,
yeah,
but wasn't too sure what they were doing. Yeah,
and
I guess processing is right.
yeah, I want to know more about it because like obviously this book came out well beforehand, but I've been reading this recently. This reminds me very much of We Only Find Them When They're Dead,
Hmm.
and how the gods die and are deposited into our main universe in that book, and then the humans harvest the god meat
Hmm.
and then like their armor and clothing and stuff to create weapons from and all of that sort of thing. And like they're gigantic. Like spaceships are barely the size of a pinky tip of these gods,
Oh wow.
and just fleets of scavengers go out and they're carving and harvesting the meat and then like yeah stripping the armor and melting that down to make weapons and technology out of. um, there's something
That
called the
sounds.
god heart and they use that for computer processing power and AI. And so this reminds me of like a very similar concept. Like this, obviously, this being has some kind of special properties and is powerful. Otherwise, like they wouldn't be harvesting it after a whole bunch of other animals have been munching on it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're hungry, but you're not decaying corpse that's been there for who knows how long hungry.
Yes.
So there's got to be something special about it to
Yeah.
encourage them to harvest it like that.
Right.
And I would
Yeah.
love to find out more about the why and the where and the how that
Yeah.
is.
And I guess that's the first like super unsettling thing that happens. And you're like, oof. It's like this isn't just like a kid's world.
Right? Yeah, like it's that's what I like about it. Like it's a more intense sort of Miyazaki style world, but
Yeah.
I like that. Like it's gruesome in parts, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a dark and gritty take.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's not.
just
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just is
It's
what it is.
yes. It's fantastical and sometimes grotesque.
Yeah, and like some of the Miyazaki movies are like that as well.
Yeah, they sure are.
You know, like Princess Mononoke doesn't shy away from the gruesome.
No.
Um, but yeah, it's really interesting to see how they do it and what they choose to show and what they choose to skip over.
Yeah.
And I love this just eccentric, chaotic little forest guy.
Oh, Pring.
Yeah, that just like he's flipping around and he can immediately tell that the tiger is the queen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, like guys, if you haven't read the book yet, take off, go read it, come back. That was probably more of a spoiler than I should have dropped before saying so. But anyway, go read the book and come back because we're going to hit spoiler territory.
Yes.
But yeah, this guy can tell that this is the queen immediately, somehow.
Yeah.
And
He knows.
I don't think it's ever really revealed exactly how he can tell either.
It's no, I don't think it is.
It's just that
We get
he has some sort of
yeah.
magical touch to him.
We get like a clue that so he's Moro, and Moro they sound like I mean, we don't get too much information about them either, but it kind of sounds like they're like kind of sorcery, kind of wizardry, kind of, but they're like a tribe who are very in tune with the spirit animals.
Yeah.
And even Pring says that he kind of speaks animal, and that he cut off his own arm and then sewn on a raven wing.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so he could be even closer to and more in tune with the animal world. It was very mysterious. It's just little drops of clues that they give you, but and then like kind of like rear back. It's like, oh, that's it. No more information. That's all you get.
Yeah, and I do love that for the sake of the book. Like, they focus on the narrative more than exposition and telling us every little bit of
Yeah,
information
just
about the
no
world,
exposition. Mm-hmm.
which is great. But also, I want answers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily want them in the book because obviously you want to tell the story first and foremost, and the
Right.
way that they're telling the story is really engaging and interesting.
Yeah.
But also, like, image, even if it's just like sales that drives you for this, a visual encyclopedia of this comic would make you
Yes.
bank because there's so
Yes.
much interesting stuff about it that, well, I know that at least two of us want to know about. So,
Absolutely.
like, yeah, make a little trade paperback with all the back matter telling us more about this world and let us know what's going on because I really want those answers.
Yeah. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Have you ever played this PlayStation game, Dark Souls?
I know of it, but I haven't played it.
Oh, it is amazing. If you like RPGs that that drop you into a world where a million things are happening but nothing is ever explained.
Yeah, yep.
It's like this book kind of made me feel like that. It's
I've
like
sort of
you
got that impression from Dark Souls, and they are in my Steam wish list.
oh,
So
yeah.
I've just got
Yeah,
like a bunch of
there's a
stuff
lot of
I've,
them now.
yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff I've already bought that I have to finish first. So
I hear you. I know. I have my own like big game list. It's like, but Dark Souls, I played it a few years ago, like I don't know, a bunch of years ago. But then I got so into it, and then I got two, then I got three, then I got Bloodborne.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like
yeah,
that
I'm
whole
keen.
series.
I am keen to play that series. At the moment, I'm working my way through Dead Cells, but also like I'm not a huge video gamer. I'm more of a tabletop gamer. But thinking about it as well, like a third person RPG of this
Yeah.
would
Yes.
also be amazing.
Oh yes, I would love to play the role of Rook.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, that would be really really fun. There's like the way the landscape is designed and the creatures that are in it and stuff. There's a
Yeah.
lot of room for like really interesting exploration stuff as well as your
Yeah.
standard RPG hack and slash mechanics, trying to keep the
Yeah.
tiger safe and
Yeah. Or give me like a Skyrim version and I just put me in as any character as
yeah,
myself. And I just let me explore this world.
yeah, that too. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I reckon start with a simple one that follows the story of the comics and get people hooked, and
Yeah.
then do a sequel that's like an open world Skyrim. There's so much you could do in this fantasy setting.
Yeah.
I reckon that would be really fun.
I'd love that.
I think that's the first comic that I've actually had that discussion about on the show. Like that, I
Oh,
really want
really?
to play a video game of this comic.
Yeah. This one it just really lends itself. It's just beautiful world building.
It,
Whenever there's a good world, yeah.
yeah, it really is. Like, I would love to explore this world either as in a video game or as a TTRPG, and that would be
Mhm.
uh,
Either
really, really
or.
fun. I
Hmm.
feel like the magic system of this world would be really interesting.
Yeah, well, I would say we don't know enough about it, but I feel like there it must be very interesting. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
because like yeah, like we meet those people like deep, deep, deep in the swamps that live in like the hut village and stuff, and they've
Yeah,
obviously got some kind of spiritualism and magical ability and stuff like that
yeah,
going on. And
yeah,
like I would love to learn more about that and find
yes,
out what the rules are in this world,
yeah,
like how magic works. You know,
yeah,
is it
exactly.
is it communing with nature and convincing the world to do what you need it to do? Is it
Yeah.
like bartering? You know, you have to give something up to get something.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there conjuration magic? Is there not? You know, is it all some kind of alchemy?
Yeah. What is it? I want to know.
Yeah,
Any one of those could be it.
right. And I can't. I haven't. It's been a while since I read the end of this season, this series. They haven't finished it yet, have they? Like the
No,
story.
no.
That's what
No,
I
no,
thought.
no.
I'm really looking forward to finding
Well,
out.
two graphic novels, yeah, which are I think 5 issues each. They have the prologue, and they've been promising chapter 3 for in 2022,
Okay, cool.
which is
That's
another
great.
5 issues.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that then. And then that's two comics that I've been really looking forward to closing out the story that should be coming out this year.
Oh yeah, which ones?
This one and Crowded.
Oh, and Crowded, yeah.
Yeah, the volume 3 is coming out sometime this year.
Oh, nice.
They're doing all of the final arc as just a single volume instead of releasing single issues.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder why.
I think it was just easier for them to just get it all done and get it finished and released. Because I've talked to Chris and Ted and Ro about it. Like they've all been on the show and they've talked about the third issue and stuff. And I think it
Hmm.
was just a matter of logistics. You know, like this it's been running for so long and they've all got other projects going on and stuff like that. And they really want to close out the story and just give it to people to finish. Like
Yeah,
here's the end. Here you go.
yeah,
You've been waiting patiently for so long. Here's your present.
yeah.
And
Huh.
they've pretty much finished it. I remember Chris was posting something on Twitter recently about having just finished going over the proofs, and so that means
Okay.
it should be off to print soon.
That should be done. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been
Yeah.
very eagerly following that, waiting for that to come out. And so
Awesome.
it'll be really nice to finish this one off as well because I've been really curious to see.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna be able to finish the whole thing in 5 more issues. I feel like there's so much of this world. They're gonna need
That's
like
true. That's true.
I don't know, at least 4 or 5 more graphic novels, maybe more.
Yeah, yeah, and then that's it. Like it could finish in 5 issues. Like this core storyline that they're doing
That's true.
could
But
wrap up in 5 issues, or it could also just as easily continue on.
keep go because like in chapter 2, which is the second book, which is 5 issues, it's basically just an adventure. It like almost doesn't even push you. I mean, other than them, I guess, pushing forward on the map, it doesn't actually push any much more story. Like you only find out very little, like a little bit more about the backgrounds of the two main characters and a little bit more about the world they reside in. But mostly, it's an adventure. It's like
Mm.
it's like a sidetrack, side mission,
Yeah, well, yeah,
kind
that's it.
of.
Like, all we know is they're trying to find out where Isola is.
Exactly. And like all we know is that it's half a world away, whatever that means in this world, because we don't know how big it is. We have a map, but um, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like that's what I feel. Like I agree with you there. Like the second one did feel like just like a bit of a quest, like an information gathering quest.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
they could have everything that they need now. That it could be like one, maybe two more issues is what it takes for them to discover the location.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I
But
mean, I guess at any point they can meet a character who's like, well, Isola is actually behind this tree.
yeah, but that's it. Like I feel like the pace that they've gone at, they had the introduction arc,
Hmm.
which is introduces us to the problem and the
Right.
players, and then a bit of an
Right.
adventure in the middle, and like
Yeah.
this, I don't know if it's gonna be the final chapter, but
Yeah.
like I feel like the way that they've written it, it could very easily be the final chapter if they wanted it to be. Like I feel
True.
like they could have it that okay, so you guys have worked really really hard. Here you found the information. Now you've got to get there
Yeah.
and achieve the final goal, which is to find out how to restore the queen to her human
Right.
form.
Right.
Like that feels like a mission that could be wrapped up in 5 issues.
True.
Like
I guess.
I feel like it'd probably be better served with 10.
Yeah, that's what I like. I guess just personally, I would wish for a couple of more graphic novels.
Yeah, like I would love to spend more time in this world. I would
Yeah,
love
I,
to,
I
but
could have like maybe 2 or 3 more of these side mission graphic novels, and
yeah,
then maybe number graphic novel number 5. All right, tell me the. What's
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but just sort of just going off how many books have been cancelled early in the last few years and stuff, like
oh,
just before the payoff,
oh
I'm like,
God, yeah.
they could wrap it up here if they
That
wanted
pains
to.
me.
If they wanted to just play it safe and just make sure that they get to finish their story,
Yeah.
they could do it in this 5 issues. But I'd rather they did it in 10. A bit more
Yes.
time in this world, and just a bit more time to play this story out in full would be lovely.
Yeah. Yes.
But I do feel like they've set themselves up in a way that if they needed to, they could wrap it up pretty neatly without much in the way of plot holes and stuff in this in this third volume. I keep saying
Right.
final, but I actually don't know how many volumes they have planned.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't think they've ever said.
Yeah, so I hope there's more,
Mm-hmm.
but I will be okay with it if they wrap it up here.
Yes. I mean, I'll buy it and
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, I'll buy it, enjoy it, love it, read it, but I would like a bit more.
Yes.
So, like,
Exactly.
if you guys are watching this, feel free to let us know how many volumes you've got planned, because like
Yeah.
this is pure speculation, just based off me just accidentally assuming that the third volume is the last one.
Yeah. Well, my
But
speculation is that there's going to be 10 more. My hope.
yeah, yeah, I reckon 10 more
So,
single issues would be perfect.
no,
Fifth.
I mean 10 more graphic
Oh no,
novels.
I know. Like more in this world would be amazing. But just to wrap up this core story, I reckon 10 issues would put the button
Yeah.
on that neatly.
That would feel like it's a decent pace. Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 acceptable, but
Yeah.
10 would be a good solid pace. Allow for a bit
Yes.
more exploration. Allow for them to come to terms with their situation. Allow for
Mm-hmm.
them to actually go and speak to the ghost of the dead brother, and
Yes.
find out if even
Why?
even if they speak to him, the fact that he's dead and can't perform whatever the ritual is,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Just because they find him and talk to him, excuse me, and find out what kind of spell he cast and how it's supposed to be reversed and stuff, that doesn't mean that they can do it.
That's true. They might have to find somebody else.
Yeah, or it could be one of those things where only the caster can
Yeah.
undo the spell.
Yes. Also, do you think that's why they're going to Isola to find Asher?
That's
Uh,
what it says
oh, that's what it says.
in the blurb.
Oh, I don't think I was. Okay.
Yeah, it says like they're hunting down she took vengeance on the brother without realizing that he was the only one that could turn the queen back. So now they must journey to
Oh,
the underworld, Isola, the island of the dead, to speak to the spirit of the brother and find out how to return the queen to her form.
gotcha. Okay, that actually gives me way more context.
Yeah. So
Why Isola?
that's
I'm like,
it.
why? Because I was
Isola
wondering.
is their entrance to the realm of the spirits.
Right. Okay.
So
Because I was like, well, we're like in this land of like magical like sorcerers like the Moro. Why couldn't they do it? But that I guess that makes sense. And only
yeah,
the caster can.
yeah. Well, we don't know if only the caster can undo the spell, but he's the only one that knows how.
Right.
Because he's the one that cast the spell. He didn't tell anyone anything about it. Nobody else knows what he did. So they have to
Yeah.
go and find his spirit to find out what happened. But
Mm-hmm.
then after that is anybody's guess. Like, can he tell them how to fix it and they can cast the spell themselves? Do they have to go and find a special magic item in order to undo it? Or
Right.
is it a case of, he casts a spell so only he can undo the spell? So do they have to go on an adventure now and try to find a way to resurrect him?
Yeah.
Like that
That's
that could be
true.
possible. I don't know.
And that would add a whole other like a whole new season of
Exactly.
comics too after they find Isola.
Exactly. And that would be really interesting, especially if they could find some kind of way to take their spirit with them. And like cuz they have to resurrect him and get him to do the thing, and maybe he's got the knowledge of where the thing is, so they have to figure out some way of taking the spirit with him, but then they have to deal with him being with them while they're doing this,
Yeah.
which adds a whole new level of conflict
That's
and
That's true.
character
He seems like a
development.
difficult,
Yeah,
a difficult personality to travel with.
yeah. So like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what that answer is.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
because yeah, like you said, we don't know a lot about how magic works in this world. So it could
Yeah,
be any of those things. It could be something else that I haven't even thought of.
yeah, could be anything.
Yeah, or it could be that it's irreversible.
Yeah,
It could be that he knows that, but nobody else knows that. But it could be that they get there and find out that she's just stuck as a
he's
tiger.
tiger. Yeah,
Although there was a moment where she did regain human form ever so briefly, but with
yeah, right.
bestial features.
Yeah, that was so strange to me because I was like, is this another vision or is this
I can't
cause
remember what happened. I can't remember if it was a vision or if it was like because of where they were and what was happening, there was like a temporary break in the curse, like it was
yeah,
disrupted. I can't remember.
yeah.
I'll
Well,
have to
because
reread it and find
between
out.
the visions, the dream sequences, and the reality, you're always kind of floating in between these like I guess just these ways of being. It's like either you're here or you're there, but you don't know where which one you're in. It's like, is this a dream? Are these like scary animals coming at you? Is that a dream, or is that their real life? And that's like with almost every other page, you're like a little bit unsure.
Yeah, and I do love that. Like I don't
Yeah.
feel I don't feel cheated
Oh
by that.
no, no.
It's sometimes you watch or read a story and there's just too much stuff
Yes.
unexplained and it's
Yes.
confusing in a bad way.
Yes.
But like this is like a for me it feels like it's confusing in a we don't know the rules of this world yet way.
Yes.
Like
Oh, I love that. Actually, I do like that because I feel like often like creators they explain too much and they don't
yeah,
have to. I'm like it's like, oh, this happened because of this and that happened because of that, and oh, that little thing you were wondering about, here's a little round little bow for you so you know why. It's like, well,
yeah,
a little mystery is nice, a lot of mystery is nice, and I feel like it's like they trust their audience to make their connections, and if they don't make their connections, they'll still enjoy the world. So I really actually really like that about this book. I feel like it treats the audience like it's a smart audience.
yeah, exactly. I like that. Like I don't like when it's like, ooh, not gonna tell you everything, and you can feel like the author is doing the "I know something you don't know" dance.
Right.
Whereas this, like you said, it feels like they're like, hey, this is a story. It's a mystery. Like this is a story about magic and mystery and mysticism, and even the main characters don't know what's going on. So
Right.
you're not going to know what's going on because they don't
Yeah.
know what's going on. And so I trust you to be able to sit patiently and wait for the blanks to be filled in as the characters fill them in,
Exactly.
which is nice. Like there's a lot of stuff that there's a lot of questions I want answered,
Yeah.
but
But that's why I'm reading the book.
yeah, but it's
That's
it.
not. But I'm not
Yeah,
gonna like write a letter to Brendan and be like, "Yo."
yeah, exactly. It's in a way that is like I want these questions answered, but I feel like the important ones are going to get answered if I wait patiently. Not
Right.
in a what the fuck? Like, what does this mean? What is that? What even is this? Who is that? Where did this come from? Sort of way.
Right.
Which I was reading a book recently. I can't remember what it was, but I was reading a book recently, and that was happening. Like I was like, who is that, and where
Yeah.
did you come from? When did this happen? Why is that there? Didn't you have this a minute ago?
And when did you change the rules of this magic?
Yeah, yeah. But no,
Yeah.
there's consistency to the mystery, which means there's a method to what they're doing.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. It's consistent. It's like it's not there because they're not telling you because they don't know. They're not telling you because the characters don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not telling you because they don't know. They're not telling you because they want to play a trick on you. They're just not telling you because that part of the story hasn't happened yet.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
that's a better way of saying it.
yeah, no, I like that. That's what I mean. Like, if the characters don't know. So why the hell should you know before the characters know? The point is that you're experiencing the character's story. So
Yeah.
why should you know before the characters do?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes a book does that,
Yeah.
and it's fine, you know? Like, you
And
find
it's
things out
fun.
in advance of the character, and it's actually
Yeah.
written in a way that makes it fun when
Yeah.
you've known something for a while and the character finally figures it out and you're like, yes, there it
Finally,
is,
yeah.
you
Or in
got it,
horror,
I've been
when
rooting
like
for you.
exactly. And
But
you see that also in horror when you're like, oh, I know that where like the monster's behind you. You should turn around, and the character's just like walking around. It's
yeah,
like, but that actually brings tension.
exactly.
So that's when it's done right.
Yeah, but then sometimes you read a book and it's like, oh, okay, you don't think I could figure this out on my own, and you're just holding the reader's hand through this entire
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
And I prefer one or the other of the other options. You know, either
Yes.
leave the mystery there and trust us to
Mhm.
be patient and find out as the characters find out, or
Right.
tell us in a way that makes us excited for the character to also figure it out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Don't tell us in a way that makes us feel like you don't trust us and also makes us annoyed that the character hasn't figured it out yet.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I don't want to feel like I'm stupid. I don't want to feel like the character I'm reading about is stupid. Like I want, it's not an easy like tightrope to like walk on. I get why like people have trouble with this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh,
Oh no, I'm
everybody's
not even gonna say that I could write that. You know, like
yeah.
I guarantee you, some of the stuff that I'm writing is probably accidentally a bit handholdy because I'm an inexperienced writer.
It's not easy to write.
No,
Yeah.
but
But like
as a reader, I
but
just
when
know
you
what I
see other
prefer.
people exactly when people are doing it like in a way where like you can see it's like there's mastery
Yeah,
behind this craft.
there is, there
Yeah.
is, there really is. Like, you can see when someone has the skill and knows what they're doing. You can't necessarily always pick up on exactly what it is, but
Mhm.
you can feel it through the telling of the story that, oh yeah, though this is a well written story. This is
Yeah.
crafted well.
Yeah.
And
This
I
has a
do
lot of
really
thought.
feel like this book has done that.
I think so too. I think this book has been crafted, and I know they've been working on it for a bunch of years, and
I
I
yeah,
think you could feel that.
I don't know, like, over the course of reading it, I know there was stretches where I was just like checking Comixology, going, is the new Isola out? Is the new Isola out? Is the new Isola out? It's been so long. And
I
then
know they have.
and then I see it and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh no. How long
Yeah.
until the next one?
Yeah, because apparently, because I bought the graphic novels because I'm way too impatient for issues. Like it's like with shows. I do the same thing. I wait for the
Yep.
whole show to drop, like all the episodes to drop, and then I binge it.
Yep.
Because like I'm just too impatient. I
I,
can't
I
do.
do that with a lot of books, but every so often I unfortunately stumble across a book that really hooks me
Mm-hmm.
and I can't wait. But then also, it ends up being a book where, just for whatever reasons, the creative team is really, really busy and they
Yeah.
don't put out the issues on the standard monthly schedule.
Yeah.
It
This
could
one
be,
was bi-monthly.
yeah, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months, it could be unpredictable months.
Oh my god.
Depending on the publisher. Sometimes there's like, oh, okay, 1 month, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months,
Yeah.
and like I'm happy that the creators still get to create their story and just get it all out there, but I hate it when that happens because it's always a book that I'm hooked on.
Yeah.
I'm never mad at the creators, obviously. Like, everyone's got their own thing to do. Everyone's got their own work schedule. Stuff is chaotic. Making comics is hard, y'all. Like, it
Yeah.
ain't easy.
Oh
So,
yeah.
like, do what you gotta do, guys. I'm happy for you. But I always hate it when that happens in the way that, like, it always happens to me on a book that I get absolutely enthralled by and just have a deep, burning need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
And that ends up being the one where the release schedule is kind of irregular, or
Yeah.
just bi-monthly or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I've got to go back and read the last issue because my
Yeah,
bloody
'cause you can't
ADHD
remember.
brain has just lost it.
Yeah, no, I lose it too.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't never remember. That's why I'm always just like I'm just gonna wait for the graphic novel. And I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm really looking
have
forward
the
to
full
the.
chunk.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the trade coming out of Volume 3 of this so I can go back and reread the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely we'll be reading chapter 2 and 1 again.
Yeah. The same for
One
Crowded, actually. Like, as soon as Volume 3 comes out, I'm going to buy all the 3 trades and then
Yeah.
just sit down and just devour the whole thing again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
boy.
nice.
But yeah, needless to say, we love this book, and we both
Hmm.
highly recommend that you go read it. It's a really fun book.
Absolutely.
There's 10 issues out now, so like the next volume is coming out this year. You won't have to wait too long for it. But if you're
We can't promise anything.
yeah, but I mean, if you pace yourself, you should be more or less caught up by the time the first issue comes out. Hopefully, but
Yeah.
either way, you're gonna enjoy it. Definitely go give it a read. I will link it in the description as always, of course. But go read the book; it's really cool, and go follow the creators on on their socials. Um, these guys
Yeah.
deserve a lot of love. They've put a lot of love into this book. They've been working on it since high school.
Yeah.
I think that's what elementary is, right? Is elementary primary or high school?
No, it's primary.
Oh, it's
That's
primary.
yeah. It's like when they're 10 years old.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go. They've been working on this book since they were little bitty kids. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of love in this book.
Yeah.
I know those feels. I've been working towards just doing comics at all since I was little bitty. So I can understand how these guys feel seeing this book out in the world. And yeah, go give it some love. If you like fantasy, if you like Miyazaki, you'll love this book. It is a bit darker, a la Princess Mononoke. Just be prepared for that. But it's not like a dark and gritty, hardcore reboot sort of dark. It's just like, as in most stories, shit gets serious sometimes. It is very Mononoke inspired, but yeah, shit gets serious sometimes.
Right.
But it's really fun. Any other like closing thoughts on the book from you, Vera?
Um. Yeah. I mean, I do want to shout out the creators one more time. It's Brendan Fletcher. It's Carl Kerschel. The coloring is done by M. Sassy K. And the lettering is Aditya. I will never get his last name right. Kumar.
Yeah. And like a big shout out to the colorist, of course. Like I've talked
Yeah.
about the coloring so many times throughout this chat, and it is incredible.
It is so gorgeous. It's just like even if you don't even know how to read, just buy these books just to look at them. Just like
Yeah,
put them on your walls.
yeah.
They're so beautiful.
Like if I ever get the chance to work with that colorist, I think I'd be over the moon.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. Anyone must be so lucky.
Yeah, like if I got to work with anyone on this creative team, I would be totally stoked. Brendan,
Yeah.
hit your boy up for some covers, please. I really want to do a cover this year.
Yes. And the tabletop game.
Yeah, yeah. Seriously, like dead serious. Not this year because I've already got too much on my plate for this year. But I would love to talk to you about writing a D&D adventure based on this book. This would be so much fun.
Yeah.
That
It's
would be
super deserving.
yeah. Even like if we just put together a Creatures of Isola book with just stat blocks for
Yeah.
all of those creatures that you see throughout the comic, that would be
Yes.
really cool.
And big format books, please.
Yeah. Yeah, nice big hardcover. That would be really really fun. I would love to write stat blocks and lore and stuff for these animals.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, we are approaching the hour, which means that it is time for you to shout yourself out. Where can everybody find you?
Oh god. um so you can find me on Twitter at Lady Green Tea. You can find me on Instagram, Vera underscore Green Tea. Um, if you just search Vera Green Tea on Kickstarter, it's like I don't know. I'm nearing like 20 projects on there. I'm sure I'll have a new one up within a couple of months. It's basically my life is doing Kickstarter projects.
Tell me about it. I've got so many lined up for the next 12 months. But I will put your links in the description below, Vera, so that everyone
Thank
can
you.
find you. I'll put the links to the comic below, all that
Check
sort of
that out.
stuff. And obviously, the usual thing, you can find me as Brain Beast Studios on all social media. You can find No Capes on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, if you want to help support the show, if you want to help support my comics work, my TTRPG work, and all that sort of stuff, you can subscribe to my Patreon. It's like $5 a month is the cheapest tier, and that's Australian dollars. So if you're in the UK, Canada, or America, that's like $2 for you. And you get early access to all my comics, all my scripts and pitches that I'm doing. You get playtesting advanced copies of all the stuff that I'm designing for TTRPGs. And of course, you get to see these episodes like 2 weeks before everybody else does. And all the extra bonus bloopers and little bits that get cut out, you'll get to see those in advance as well before the rest of the world. Some of it, the rest of the world's never going to get to see, and you'll only get to see it on Patreon. And once I hit like 15 patrons, I will have enough money to start making my comics and paying my artists. So, I'm going to draw some of those comics, but I have got some really cool people lined up to work with on these things. And the sooner I get to like 15 patrons, the sooner I can start putting comics out in the world. Anyway,
Do it.
hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this around if you may. Please give us a follow on social media because I really want to blow No Capes up this year. I love making this show. I learn so much from every single guest I get to talk to through analyzing these comics. I really think and hope that this is a valuable resource for other creators who are just sort of starting their journey because there's so much really cool analysis and perspective given by the guests every week that, like, if you're a new and aspiring comics creator, there'll be some real good nuggets of gold in there from all the guests that will help you become a better creator. I know I've become a better writer just from talking with everyone. So please help me make No Cape something real special this year. I would love to at least be able to continue going on until like season 10. That'd be great. So like, subscribe, Patreon if you wanna. But until next episode, this has been No Capes, the show where we talk about creator-owned comics with creators who own comics. This has been my wonderful guest, Vera Greentea, and I'm Sean Sunday, and I'll see you next time.